Scorpio. If your eyes have found this message today, it is not because you were curious or scrolling without purpose. Something older, deeper, and wiser has been guiding you. The air around your energy field has been shifting for days now. Subtle at first, like a whisper through a closed window, and then stronger, like a presence you can feel but cannot name. And that is why you are here. Because between November 15th and the 22nd, something unusual is approaching your life, something that carries the weight of destiny. An old man, a figure marked not by age alone, but by a lifetime of knowing, will cross your path. Whether he appears in a literal form, a stranger whose words linger in the air long after he's gone, or as a symbolic messenger who arrives through a dream, an intuition, or a coincidence that feels too precise to ignore, what he says will ripple through your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. His presence is not random. His timing is not accidental. He comes when the veil thins, when your spirit is most ready, when your soul has asked silently for clarity, and when the universe decides you are prepared to receive it. Before we continue, take a slow breath and settle into this moment. Let your intuition, the part of you that has never lied to you, lean forward. Stories like this are not warnings or predictions. They are invitations. Invitations into possibility, into meaning, into the landscapes of your spirit that you forget to explore. If it does not, let it pass like a cloud drifting across the sky, because not every message is meant for every spirit. Your internal compass will always know what belongs to you. Now listen carefully, Scorpio, because the days ahead carry a spiritual voltage you may already be sensing. You may have noticed your dreams growing more vivid, or your emotions rising in unexpected waves. You may have felt that strange heaviness in your home, not a darkness, but a density, as if the walls themselves are holding some kind of secret. Perhaps you've seen repeating numbers, or felt a presence near you when you're alone, or found yourself remembering things you had forgotten. These are not random moments, they are precursors to alignment. Something is preparing you. Something is making space. Something is clearing the noise so you can hear what is about to be spoken into your life. And that is when the old man steps in, quietly, humbly, almost unnoticed, yet carrying a message that shakes the foundations of your spirit. He is not tall, not imposing, not someone you would normally look twice at, but there is something about his presence, something ancient, something gentle, something that feels like truth, disguised in human form. His eyes hold depth, not the kind of depth that overwhelms, but the kind that makes you feel unexpectedly seen. He speaks softly, not to command, but to reveal. His words don't rush. They land. They settle in your chest like warm stones, grounding you, anchoring you, pulling you into a new reality. For some Scorpios, he may appear in a physical encounter, a brief conversation with an elder, a stranger who offers a line of wisdom at the exact moment you're unraveling a difficult thought, a passerby who seems to know more than he should. For others, he will come through dreams, visions, or even memories you don't remember forming. And for some, he will appear as the symbolic voice of your higher self, a wise presence that rises within you, nudging you toward decisions you've been avoiding. His message, no matter how it arrives, carries 3 layers: revelation, release, and redirection. First, he reveals something, a truth you sensed but didn't want to face, or a confirmation of a feeling you've been having. Then he guides you toward release, not by force but by clarity. And finally, he redirects you, not by telling you where to go, but by showing you what you no longer need to hold. This is not a savior. This is not someone sent to fix your problems. This is a mirror, a guide, a cosmic nudge delivered in human form. The energies surrounding Scorpio between November 15th and 22nd are some of the most intense of the season. Mars is stirring your subconscious. Mercury is walking through the quiet corridors of your emotional life, and Pluto, your ruler, is awakening the chambers of truth you've kept locked for far too long. This week is not chaotic energy. It is clarifying energy. It pulls back the curtain not to expose you but to free you. And the old man symbolizes the wisdom you need to step into the next chapter of your journey. During these days you may feel nostalgia. You may remember versions of yourself you've forgotten. You may realize that certain people no longer occupy your heart the way they once did. You may feel a sudden urge to clean, to rearrange, to remove certain objects from your space. You may feel your soul asking for stillness, silence, retreat. These are signs of an internal shift. The old man is not coming to add something to your life. He's coming to help you remove what has kept you from rising. His presence also awakens something ancient within you, your inner elder, your inner sage, the part of you that knows exactly what your spirit came here to do. Scorpio, you are not new to transformation. You don't change gently. You change like the tide pulling away an entire shoreline. You do not evolve quietly. You evolve with a force that rewrites your life. And yet, this shift is different. It isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It isn't the kind of transformation that destroys. This one heals. This one reveals. This one rebuilds. Somewhere between the 15th and 22nd, something becomes clear. A decision you've been delaying begins to feel effortless. A connection you've been uncertain about suddenly reveals its truth. A path you thought was closed begins to open like a door you hadn't noticed before. You may receive a message, a call, an opportunity, or a sign that feels too aligned to ignore. And the old man's words, whatever form they take, will echo in your mind as if they were spoken only moments ago. You already know the answer. You just needed someone to remind you. And this is when your heart softens, not in weakness, but in recognition. Because deep down you've been waiting, not for permission, not for validation, but for clarity. And now clarity has arrived. During this window of time, your intuition will spike. You will feel your body responding to energy before your mind understands it. Pay attention to the subtle signals, the chills that arrive without cause, the dreams that replay a message, the sudden urge to reach out or to withdraw, the heaviness that lifts without reason. These are confirmations that the universe is repositioning pieces of your life. And Scorpio, listen, this shift is not small. It will influence the next 6 months of your path. Financial clarity, emotional release, and spiritual awakening are all themes woven into this moment. If you've been waiting for stability, direction, peace, or closure, this is the threshold you've been standing on, perhaps without knowing it. The old man's message will challenge you, but gently. He may remind you that you've been carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. He may reveal that someone's intentions were misunderstood. He may tell you that it's safe to let go, or he may simply say the one sentence your soul has needed to hear: you are ready now. What unfolds after his message will feel almost fated. Certain people may drift from your life effortlessly. Others may draw closer, revealing their loyalty or their sincerity. Opportunities may arrive faster than you expect, and you may find yourself choosing differently, not out of fear but out of alignment. This is the power of wisdom. It doesn't force you to change. It helps you remember who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. As the week unfolds, you'll notice a deepening sense of peace in your chest. The anxiety that once controlled your decisions will loosen its grip. The confusion that clouded your judgment will begin to dissolve. You will see yourself more clearly, not the wounded version, not the guarded version, but the wise one. The version of you that trusts the timing of your life. And Scorpio, this is important. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into this next season. Let what needs to leave gently. Let what needs to stay naturally. You do not need to force anything. The right people will feel like ease, not effort. The right opportunities will feel like truth, not pressure. The right path will feel like alignment, not fear. By the time November 22nd arrives, you will look back and realize something subtle but monumental has shifted. Not the world around you, the world within you, your heart, your clarity, your spirit, your sense of direction. And that is what the old man came for, not to give you an answer, but to help you see the answer that has been waiting inside you all along. So ask yourself, Scorpio, as we stand here in this moment together, are you ready to receive wisdom, quiet, ancient, gentle wisdom, without running from it? Are you ready to step into the chapter of your life that feels like relief instead of survival? Are you ready to trust the signs, the timing, and the whisper inside your own chest? Because when the old man appears, however he appears, you will know. Not because he is extraordinary, but because you are ready. And readiness is the moment everything begins to change. And if this message has found you at the exact time you needed it, Scorpio, then your transformation has already begun. And Scorpio, there is something else. Something quieter yet more powerful than everything we've spoken about so far. When an elder appears in spiritual symbolism, it's rarely about his identity. It's about the wisdom he awakens inside you. The old man is not the beginning of your journey, nor the end. He is the turning point. He signals that the era of carrying your life with clenched fists is ending, and the era of walking with open palms is beginning. You have spent years surviving storms that would have destroyed others, carrying weights you never admitted, healing wounds you pretended didn't hurt. And yet, here you are, still rising, still searching, still open enough to listen. That openness is your gift. That's why the message finds you now. During the days between November 15th and 22nd, you may notice something unusual happening in your environment. Time will feel different, slower, softer, as if the universe is carefully rearranging the pieces of your life. You might feel a strange pull to step outside more often, to look at the sky, to sit in silence, to listen to things you normally ignore. Your senses blur for a moment, but in the blurring there is clarity. You may find feathers, coins, symbols, the scent of incense with no source, or the sudden urge to revisit memories that shaped you. These are gentle confirmations that something sacred is aligning around you. They are signs that you are being prepared, not for chaos, but for truth. The old man's message will not necessarily be long. Wisdom rarely arrives in paragraphs. It tends to appear in one sentence, one look, one moment that sinks so deeply into your spirit that you feel it echo for days. Perhaps he will say something about forgiveness. Perhaps he will remind you of a dream you abandoned. Perhaps he will tell you that someone's betrayal was never about your worth. Or perhaps he will simply tell you that peace is available to you the moment you stop negotiating with fear. Whatever the message is, it will disrupt the old narrative you've been holding on to. You will feel something loosen in your chest, something unclench in your soul. And then the shift begins. You may feel pulled toward a decision you've resisted for months. Something that once felt terrifying now feels strangely obvious. Where you once hesitated, you now feel clarity. Where you once clung, you now feel release. You begin to realize how much of your life has been lived in reaction to pain rather than in alignment with truth. And for the first time in a long time, you start to imagine possibilities beyond survival. You catch yourself daydreaming again, about love that feels safe, about a home that feels peaceful, about opportunities that feel aligned, about a future that doesn't require you to betray yourself. That is the moment your timeline shifts. And Scorpio, this shift won't be loud. It will come like dawn, quiet, steady, inevitable. One morning you may wake up and realize you feel different. Your body feels lighter, your mind feels clearer. The heaviness you carried for years no longer feels like yours. You may look at old wounds and feel compassion instead of pain. You may look at old mistakes and feel wisdom instead of shame. This is what happens when clarity enters your life. It does not arrive with force, it arrives with truth. As this transformation unfolds, your relationships will rearrange themselves naturally. People meant for your next chapter will step forward without you asking. People who were tied to your old wounds will fade. Not because you're cold, but because you're healed. Not because you're rejecting them, but because you're choosing yourself. And choosing yourself is the most profound spiritual act you will ever commit. The old man symbolizes this initiation. He is the archetype of wisdom, of transition, of karmic closure. His appearance marks the end of a cycle you've outgrown, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. What follows is not emptiness, but renewal. Not loss, but liberation. Not uncertainty, but alignment. And Scorpio, here is the truth you need to hear. This next chapter of your life will not be built by force. It will be built by readiness, by trust, by surrender, by allowing life to meet you where you are, not where you used to be. So when the old man arrives, in whatever form he chooses, listen, not with fear, but with reverence, not for his voice, but for the truth inside you that finally recognizes itself. Because the moment you listen, really listen, is the moment everything begins to change.